Good day, this is Leo Gilling coming to you. Oh, no, oops. Good day. How are you? Let me fix my mic a little bit. 1 second. I thought I had it on. Okay. Good day, this is Leo Gilling, and I'm coming. Three, four. There you go. Okay. Good afternoon. This is Leo Gilling. I'm coming to you live from my studio. Um, Today, I have not done a video in a long time, probably a week or so. That's because I was quite busy taking care of some other business, but I'm still in within the week. A wonderful Friday afternoon to you. I'm creating this video as a part of a series of criminological theories. We've done probably six of those theories already, and you've probably seen them on YouTube or wherever you've heard them somewhere else. Uh, Today we're gonna talk a little bit more about three. I'm gonna put three in one because they interchange. We're not gonna talk about the first one we're gonna talk about is militarization of police. All right, that's not a theory, by the way. We'll explain to you what that means when it comes to um, zero tolerance policing, which is a theory, a workable theory. And then we're also going to talk about the broken windows theory. Uh, those two theories and all three strategies interplay. Some people misconceive the whole idea of zero tolerance, right, with militarization, right? Uh, there are police departments that mistake these two things, thinking one is the other. And then we'll talk about how zero tolerance and broken windows work together, and where they've worked together, and what happened. But today, let's talk a little bit about um, how do we get there? Let's see. Zero tolerance. Well, it's the reason I talked about zero tolerance being misconstrued or misconceived when it comes to policing. Do you know any police officer in your midst that each time that you see them, you get scared because they're either going to use their gun butt to hit you, or they're going to box you down, or they're going to kick you, whatever the offense is. If you talk them too hard, or if you misrepresent, or if you don't do what they tell you to do instantly, you get a box, a kick, or a gun butt, right? Um, and there are many of us who travel on the roads, and our biggest fear is about police overstepping their bounds, uh, working outside of their rule of law. And when you see police officers um, working, uh, abusing people on the street, they stop you for a ticket because you were speeding or going too slow, and you stop, and all of a sudden you end up getting box and kick and gun butt. And each time that you run into that police officer, this is what happened. This is called militarization. And sometimes it happens where not just one police officer do it, but it's a thing that's spread across police authorities. And so it's as if every time a police stop you, you tremble, and it's like you don't know what to do because you don't know if a button going to lick you or something. Police have a rule to use force where necessary, right? Now, force they have the bandwidth, the leverage to determine what force means. Force could be he holds you to your hand and you push back just a little bit, then he can put more force, required force, to get you or to compel you to obey what they're doing. But the pushback from you don't necessarily mean that it means a baton. It could mean that he could extend his muscles a little bit more to get you to comply. A lot of times you see, as soon as a policeman stop people on the street, they tell them to go down, kneel down, or lay down flat on your stomach or something like that. Most times it's because they fear their lives. You have to look at it that they're a police officer, they don't know you from Adam, and so they tell you to comply, to lay down or kneel down or put your body over the car so that they have control over the situation, because the law allows them to take control of the situation, which is to, if they suspect that you are committing a crime, then they can compel you to do what it is that they want you to do. Nothing illegal, by the way, but to put you in a situation where they can handcuff you or they can talk to you so that you don't, you know, turn around and slap them or hurt them, because they're not out there to be a punching bag. But at the same time, you must comply. Now, they have, as I said, the leverage, the authority to make you comply if you're resisting. So if they hold both hands, they said, put your hands behind you, and you put your hand behind you. But as soon as they try to put the handcuff on you, what happens is that you resist. And resisting is not complying in the minds of a police officer. All right? And so they put more pressure, more force to get you to comply. All right, so that's a different situation from militarization. Militarization now is if he jumps out of the car, he stops you, he took a little time to stop, he jumps out of the car, and he comes gun in hand, ready to shoot, and if you say anything to him and backs you down, that's militarization. That's excessive force. All right? The judge will make that determination, because if the police is going to go to court to defend or you are going to sue, then the judge is going to make the determination what is excessive force. But they always create a situation for you to comply with their and if it's excessive force, there's no such theory that's going to compel an officer to use excessive force to hurt the persons that they're there to protect, right? So when they stop you, most police authority will tell you that they're supposed to be courteous. They're supposed to be courteous unless they have a reason to think that you have committed a crime or about to commit a crime, or you have a weapon that's whatever, right? And so don't mistake militarization for zero tolerance. All right, zero tolerance is a completely different concept, but most people think that they are the same. They're not. Zero tolerance is, it focuses on a strict law enforcement, particularly concerning minor offenses, with the goal of preventing more serious crimes. It advocates for the idea that cracking down on even small infractions will create an atmosphere of lawlessness and deter criminal activity. So, what is that? It doesn't mean that they're going to hit you or beat you. It just means that they're going to insist on any kind of infraction, the smallest of infraction. So if you have your back light is out, they're going to give you a ticket. They're going to give you a warning. If you walk across the street without a without what you may call it, help me here, a pedestrian crossing, they can give you a ticket. If you're riding a bicycle without a reflector, they're going to give you a ticket. If you're going 1 mile an hour over the speed limit, they're not going to give you a warning. They are going to give you a ticket. That's zero tolerance. They're saying they are not going to play. They're going to uh, insist on zero tolerance, on making sure that you comply. Now, what is that doing? We talked about deterrence. And deterrence don't necessarily mean that there is something out there that they're going to beat you to stop you, or they're going to kick you to stop you from not committing a crime. It means that what deterrence means is that there is enough reason for you to believe that if you commit a crime, that you are going to be arrested or prosecuted or convicted. There is enough. Just by virtue of you doing something wrong, you think that the police is going to come and get you. That's deterrence. If you don't do it, then you just got deterred from doing a crime. So it's a concept, but it's real. It is the same reason why you don't drive down the street at, God forgiven, speed, at speeds that are going to hurt other people if you get into an accident, right? It is deterrence. So this zero tolerance is in place to help to build up deterrence. Get it? So if you are afraid to walk across the street, you just got deterred without a pedestrian crossing. If you're afraid to ride your bicycle at speeds beyond 25 miles an hour in a public place, they are going to ticket you or prosecute you. Everything, whether it's by fines or to prosecute. Heavy fines. If you're driving the car, the taxi, and you have one person over the limit, if you're supposed to be 5 in the car and you have 6, you get a $10,000 bill, that kind of thing, right? So that's deterrence, building up. So what zero tolerance does, it helps the police to implement more strict deterrence for you to obey the law of the land. That's what deterrence does. So what the zero tolerance is just a matter that we are not going to put up with you. It doesn't say that we're going to box you and kick you and use and gun butt you and talk to you in a an uninformed manner. A better way to say it. It just says that they're going to be strict on the rules. Because there's another theory that's called the broken window theory, right? The broken window theory actually says that if you're in a community, an environment where you see rundown buildings, cars, and stuff all over the street, dirty street, it is a place that encourages crime. So it says that if the community is run down, misconduct is close by. That's what the broken windows. And so broken windows, along with zero tolerance policing, is great because New York City, between implemented the broken windows and the zero tolerance um, theories back in 1990, in the early 1990s, when crime, serious crimes, when serious crimes were heavy, was high. In fact, murders were like 2,600 a year, right? In New York at the time, Brooklyn and Queens and Manhattan, heavy crimes. And there was a guy by the name of Bill Bratton. And that same gentleman, the mayor, I forgot his name. He was with, he was an attorney for Donald Trump recently. I forgot his name. But they worked together to implement the zero tolerance and also the broken window policing, where if you're jumping a turnstile, police now make you go. They will give you a ticket and you have a go court. And you might have a misdemeanor by your record. Anything that if you double park and triple park, they are taking you to court. They are going to prosecute you as long as they see you. And what that does, what that did over time between 1990 and 2030, serious crimes went down from 2,600 a year down to 300 a year. But everything has to come to an end. They found the broken windows policing. They debunked it because they found it to be one that that encouraged police officers to do things that were excessive. For example, there was a time when they used to racial profiling was really rampant, and the numbers went up high, and so the court actually came back and said, "Hey, we got to stop this." So they stopped the broken window policing back in 2013. But some people think that it was directly related to and a causal effect between the broken windows and the zero tolerant policing. There was a causal relationship between that and the reduction in crime. Unproven, but during that time, crime went down tremendously. All right, so it works, or it worked, or so some people say. But don't let anyone misunderstand the difference between militarization of police. That's when police use excessive force to implement the thinking that that will be the deterrent factor, versus zero tolerance. Zero tolerance is just making sure that the laws are implemented strictly, and you don't get a break. You don't get warnings. They take you to court. They prosecute you, or they fine you heavily for this. And so if you know persons, now listen, I am not telling you this so that you go and face a police officer in Jamaica and say, boy, me know this a rule. Don't do that. The best thing to do when a police officer stop you is to comply. Be as nice as you can, and be as compliant as you can to make sure that the interaction is positive. All right, this is Leo Gilling, and I thank you for listening. You have a wonderful day.